So it's come to my attention that everybody's not trying to build a super bike. So we're going to slow it down a little bit here. And I want to make sure I don't miss covering the more conventional repair aspects to a bike and not just high performance things. So today we're going to cover the Gy6 motor and gear oil changes. Let's look at the items we'll be using. For this job, you're going to need your replacement oil. In this case, I'll be using Valvoline full synthetic oil, but I've used a large range of different oils over the course of the last year. Anything from conventional oil all the way up to royal purple. And they all pretty much work the same. You just want to stay in the range of 10W30 to 10W40. You'll also need a gear oil, and in this case I'll be using Mobil's synthetic gear lubricant 75W90. You'll need a funnel and a measuring cup because we'll be filling the engine with 750 milliliters of motor oil. You want something to catch the oil in. I have a socket wrench, 17 millimeter socket, 10 millimeter socket, and a 17 millimeter wrench. And that's only because I have a decompression hose on my bike that can only be loosened with a wrench. So the first thing we want to do is go ahead and crack loose our 17 millimeter bolt that holds our oil in to drain it. You want to make sure you get the washer that comes off with the bolt also. Before it completes its drain, I like to tip the bike over on this side a little bit. Now we'll reinstall our plug. So now we're on the right side of the bike. We have another oil drain plug here that contains a spring and what we in the scooter community call a filter, which is actually just a screen for the oil. This is not something that you need to do with every oil change, but about every 3 to 4 oil changes, I will take this out and drain the oil from this side also. And there's our spring and our filter screen. After a little cleanup, little brake cleaner, should look like this. Here and within the screen, if you do ever have metal shavings, just want you to know that that's quite normal, especially with the new engine that's settling like I have. Every now and then you will find metal shavings in there. You just want to clean everything out and reinstall the screen. Shouldn't be super tight, just hand tight. So now all we have to do is fill the motor back with oil. So I'm going to take my 17 millimeter wrench and loosen my decompression hose. And there's the port that we'll be filling with oil. So remembering we have to put in 750 milliliters of oil, we're going to start with 400 milliliters here. And now for another 350 milliliters here. So the last thing that we need to do for this procedure is go ahead and put our dipstick in my case a decompression hose, and then we're done. So now that we got the motor oil changed, let's go ahead and change our gear oil. This I recommend doing every about 3,000 to 5,000 miles.
You really want to check your owner's manual on this one. But again, if you're in the 3,000 or 5,000 mile range, you should be safe. To release the oil, we have a bolt that's under the CVT cover, and it's 10 millimeters, so you want to release that. You also want to be careful when this does drain out. It is very smelly, so you don't want it on your hands. There's also a washer on this bolt, so you definitely want to make sure you have both of them. You'll find that there's not a lot of gear oil, not nearly as much as motor oil. So once it's done draining, you want to go ahead and reinstall your plug. Now to refill the gear oil, you'll find a side plug at the end of your CVT, and it calls for a 10 millimeter to loosen. Again, has a washer with it. Now there's not an exact measurement for the gear oil. You're going to fill this hole with gear oil until it starts spewing out. Once it starts spewing out, I like to tilt my bike over to the right to put just a little bit more in to make sure it's topped off. So I have a makeshift hose on top of my gear oil bottle that I'm going to stick in this hole, and I'm going to squeeze it and fill it. Here I'm going to use a 2x4 under the kickstand and tilt the bike so she'll hold. And fill a little bit more. And that's more than enough. Now that that steady stream has stopped, I'm going to put my cap back on. Alright, and with that, that completes the process. So we've changed the motor oil and the gear oil. If you like this video, make sure you go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Any comments are welcome. And you might want to even think about subscribing. Just in case anyone's interested, I'm going to leave a couple of links to some of my previous videos so you can see what we've done so far. Everybody have a great day, and thanks for watching.